Hi everyone, welcome again back to another all-new episode reviews for the Loud House. My name is Nate, alongside is my good friend Omid. How you doing, sir?
What is up, loud crowd? How y'all doing? And yeah, get ready for an all new episode of Loud Casa Talks, or should I say Loud House Talks now, since
Well, first off,
we all know
welcome
what
back.
happened to the
Welcome
other
back to
shows.
the Loud House. This is the reason why we changed our background now.
Yeah,
I'm
I can see.
sorry. I'm sorry you can't go back to the Casagrandes right now just because the show is ended now.
It's fine. I mean, like, honestly, I'm really liking this new place anyway. Royal Woods, legit. And
I
also,
mean,
try the
yeah.
flippies. Try the flippies.
Okay, but I don't like Flippy though.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's the only thing worth getting up there is just a flippy. Let me tell you, hate the dude, but love the drink.
Yeah, my thing right now is that we know that we are now moved over to the Loud House, so that's why we changed over to back to Lincoln's house to say. Sorry, Casa Grande fan, but we're going to miss the Mercado. We're going to miss the
Oh,
apartments up there. I know. We are currently still in the change. We don't even know if we're gonna change it over to the Loud Casa Talks or we're gonna change it to something else. So at the moment, we're still Loud Casa Talks, but yeah, a lot of changes are gonna happen.
yeah. Honestly, who would have thought that a cancellation of a show would actually like change, a lot of things,
I
like
know.
that.
Well, like I said, it's up to us. We'll decide what happens next coming up. Anyways, let's continue on with our weekly checkup. Omid, we haven't visited each other for 2 weeks, so how you been, sir?
Well, actually, we did technically see each other on Sunday. It was when we went to the 626 mini market at night. It
Yeah,
was
yeah. We went to we went to grab food over there. I know. So at
yeah,
least we
it
met up
was really good
there. But
stuff.
like, how about recently? Because yeah, we haven't seen each other for a while in the Loud Casa Talks. So check catch up in life and all.
Yeah, honestly, for me personally, it was just work, and also I went to SF, meet up with a group, you know, did this huge anime sampler. So yeah, I that's to say I definitely know which shows to follow now.
I know. I saw your pictures in the Crunchyroll building itself. So I'm surprised you went to Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it looked beautiful. It looked really awesome.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I saw the whole pictures of you in the Crunchyroll booth. Looks like you were having a fun time there. I was wondering, like, how were you able to go inside the Crunchyroll booth?
Because one of the moderators, like one of the heads of said meetup, actually works there. So he managed to pretty much get us in, um, like because like it's about the hookups and stuff like that. Um, one of these days, I should definitely take you on board. Like I want you to see Crunchyroll course yourself.
I know, I know. I mean, I am a fan. I'm a fan of Crunchyroll myself, and the thing is that I haven't. I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched animes in so long, so it's like when I go in there, I'll be like, "What is going on? What anime is this? What anime is that?" Yeah, I haven't caught up to say.
How about you?
um,
How about you been doing?
it's been fine. Work has been pretty much taken over my life, so it kind of sucks there. But we talked about Sunday. We did hang out for the first time in quite a while. I think the last time we hanged out was the Disneyland trip. Am I right? So Sunday was
Oh yeah.
actually the last time we actually hanged out.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And yeah, it was definitely one of the best trips. I still stand by it.
of course it is. Yeah, I mean you haven't seen your friends. I mean it's a friends trip and everything, so I understand that it's the one of the better trips to say. And then yeah, our hangout on a Sunday was just the last time I hanged out with you guys. We just went to Dave and Buster's. We got to grab food at the mini 626 market. But to be fair, the 626 market, like I said, it was pretty small. If you went to the one in Pleasanton or the one that's known for in SoCal, there's a whole lot of more restaurants. But I still ended up getting my fill to say. And then Dave and Buster's and stuff that we did in the mall. So at least there we still had a fun time catching up and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a fun little weekend for us, and thankfully we were able to hang out again and all. All right, so that's it for our weekly checkup. So let's go ahead and actually go to the episode reviews that we're going to be reviewing. We're going to be reviewing the episodes that came out on September 23rd and September 30th. Omid, we're switching it up this time, and you said you want to switch it up because why?
I wanted to switch it up because I wanted to save forks and knives out for last because I could definitely tell you the hype was real, especially with this episode in particular for all the reasons we're going to go into. But let's just say for a little spoiler alert, it's going to contain some Ronniecoln.
I know. Yeah, now you put the spoiler there. But yeah, let's move on ahead. We're gonna go to the 30th first and actually review those episodes. Let's start off with the Loud Cloud. Synopsis here says, tired of Rita's sticky note system, Lincoln and Lisa creates an app to keep track of the family schedule. So the episode begins with Lincoln getting ready for school, telling Rita to pick him up from Gus's Games and Grub. Unfortunately, this whole sticky note system that Rita has is like all over the place. So the sticky note that Lincoln would have actually wasn't read. So in the end, Lincoln actually would walk all the way home, even though it was a cloudy day and a stormy day. To say the least, it's not really doing well. What are your thoughts with this whole sticky note system that Rita has put up?
Come on, Rita. What? Are you in the 1990s? Sticky notes were so 1990s. It's like, why are you still using this old-fashioned, method in order to, pretty much put it at your reminders and all that? Not to mention the fact that you have a big family, so it's going to be hard to keep track of all these sticky notes. I'm just saying.
No doubt about it. You have a lot of like siblings there, so you're gonna have like all of the tasks from Lenny all the way down to Lily, and they're all gonna be listed up there. So Lincoln's little request there will probably not be read by Rita. So to say the least, it's not the greatest system to say, especially with all those sticky notes and everything.
No.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it absolutely is terrible. And in the end, it kind of sucks considering that Lincoln actually did not end up getting picked up. So yeah, he's out in the rain, literally walking back home. And it's bad.
Oh, look at that. You do not want to piss off Lincoln right there, okay? Like, honestly, look at, you got the shadow, you got the angry eyes. Like, Lincoln's ready to kill someone.
I saw that. I was like, wow, Lincoln got really angry the fact that he never got picked up. So never mess with him again.
Oh man, look at his face. He's rightfully pissed off though. I mean, anyone would be pissed if they had to stand the rain for 3 hours.
I feel so bad for Lincoln for sure. So noticing how flawed the sticky note system is, Lincoln goes to Lisa, and they're going to actually make an app called the Loud Cloud. And it was only just for Rita to say. Nonetheless, that system actually worked out, considering that Rita was able to actually pick up everybody on time without any flaws and things like that. So to say the least, the system is working with what Lincoln and Lisa has. So what are your thoughts on this new system, this Loud Cloud app that Lincoln and Lisa were able to make?
In the loud cloud. Anyway, back to this. Honestly, Loud Cloud, look at this. It's definitely a much more updated version of the godawful sticky note system because like it's pretty much an app that I like the fact that it's an app that is a combination, the teamwork of Lincoln and Lisa. Like this, you can tell this is pretty much like the both of them working together, putting their heads together to create this app. And honestly, it makes me so proud of because, especially by the fact that it's like two young kids. I mean, we know Lisa could do everything like this, but I'm actually really impressed by how Lincoln actually managed to work really well in this app as well.
I'm pretty happy with the fact that Lincoln wanted to. Well, he's a man with a plan. So with this plan, Lincoln definitely was needing help with Lisa, and in the end they end up making this whole Loud Cloud system. And I love how the family was just so amazed with everything, the fact that it was just for Rita only, but in the end it was really doing well considering how she was able to pick up everybody on time without any flaws. So to say the least, the Loud Cloud looks like it's really working fine.
It really is. I'm really happy for that.
So yeah, my first impression of the app looks like it looks great. So to say the least, if it's like this, looks to be fine. But the app so far seems to have worked very well for the Louds. It worked out for Lynn Senior because it was able to keep track of the recipes for keep track of its recipes using the Loud Cloud. Then so let's actually start off with just Lynn Senior when he actually got the app. Look, it just feels like it's just an organizational kind of app, considering like the way that Rita does her sticky note system, it looks like it doesn't work. The way that Lynn Senior does his paper recipe system looks like that didn't work either. To say the least, like it ruins his recipes. So Lisa and Lincoln end up incorporating Lynn Senior's recipe system into the cloud. So your thoughts on actually adding more content to the cloud?
Yeah, it definitely helps Lynn Senior's case because, well, obviously you got to read the you like the updated instructions from your phone so that you could understand, okay, I need this, I need that. So I like the fact that it made Lynn Senior's dinner service like much smoother. And it doesn't go, and it's not just Lynn Senior that benefits from this, it's actually each of the Loud sisters and the mom that really do benefit from it just as much.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was having a bad system considering that all the recipes that he's been writing down have been all gross and stuff like that. So the picture you saw before, when they were all disgusted with the pasta that Lynn Senior made, it totally makes sense considering that he totally ruined it with a lot of whatever spices was there. And in the end, they incorporated it into the cloud, and it looks like Lynn Senior turned out to be really happy with what he ended up getting. So yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love the fact here where like Lola is just literally trying testing the app, and then he said, "It's not a test, wasn't it?" And it's like, give me take me to the nail parlor for Rita, or give me a cake from Lynn Senior.
Yeah, I really like that because it really does show how Lisa, when she wants something, she does mean it. She wants something.
So now we get to see Lynn Senior and Rita have her fun, but unfortunately, it looks like everybody else wants to use the cloud the same way as well. So now the whole family sibling area pretty much is trying their it's going to put their like they're putting their part, and it comes to the Loud Cloud. So when you first heard about that, did you feel like there was going to be some trouble coming, especially with everybody's trying to put their inputs onto the Loud Cloud?
I kind of knew that. Of course, it happens with every app, every sort of technology piece. There's always going to be some sort of like malfunction, some sort of error, some sort of like not insufficient data storage. There's always going to be some sort of catch, even when it comes to a successful app. And let me tell you, the apps, the certain catch of an app really does catch on the second half. But look at this. Look at all the Loud sisters. They're so eager to have the duo help them out. Like, look at that. They are. I mean, they are ready for this. They are ready to put the Loud Cloud to good use.
They really want to be a part of the Loud Cloud, and in the end, they ended up actually doing well. Like Luna's lyrics, Lola's pageant music, Luann's jokes. To say the least, every sister has its part when it comes to the Loud Cloud. Like, I like it. Like, okay, cool, you're doing it well with the Loud Cloud to say. I feel like when I looked at that, I was like, okay, things are gonna be looking fine, right? I mean, everybody's happy. If everyone's happy with this whole cloud system.
Or
So
so you thought. Or so you thought.
so I thought, yeah. I mean, everybody looked fine to say. So I thought it looks to be great. But unfortunately, the next scene actually after that, we actually get to see the flaw of what's going on, and apparently it keeps on getting memory low every time. So every time you put up brand new apps when it comes to the cloud, you're going to get low memory. But the solution for Lisa was pretty much plugging in brand new memory. So I thought, what were your thoughts on that? Just keep on plugging in new memory in order for the cloud to work.
Trust me. Like honestly, we've all been there where we pretty much run out of low memory or low data storage, so we'd have to put on like some sort of USB or plug in or something like that to make room for more memory. And unlike the ones we use, this one, however, turns out to not be as successful.
Yeah, we'll continue on with that actually. So turns out everything was going to be fine. Let's go through all the things that happened throughout this next scene. So I love the fact that Lenny is using the cloud just to post pictures of herself, just selfies of herself, and putting it to the cloud. And she thought that it actually was a real cloud. I'm like, Lenny, God damn it, again.
Wait, I thought Mr. Grouse was the one that yells at the cloud. After all, old man yells at cloud.
Still though, I was like, okay, well, again, this is your old typical Lenny that's just like, oh, and I love the fact that you just screaming to the cloud like, cloud, hello, cloud. So yeah, there's that. We also get to see Luann talk about jokes. So she's setting up her jokes, and she sends it over to the cloud after she sets it up so it can be in storage as well. To say the least, there's a lot of things that the sisters are doing and keeping it into the cloud, which obviously runs low on memory and everything.
Yeah, it actually turns out that it's not like it's like I said, there's a certain limit to how much stuff you could put in the loud cloud. That's why it's called memory. That's why it's called storage. Okay, like it's not like unlimited where you can just put like a lot of stuff like all at once. Okay, like trust me, I learned that the hard way with my phone.
And of course, I love the fact that Lincoln actually has this Find My Friend app. So you can actually be able to find like Clyde, Liam, Zach, Stella, and Rusty in this case.
Yeah, but where's Clyde?
I love the fact that they pointed out on Zach just because he was the one who's like losing directions on stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't really count on him for these sort of tasks or whatever. Remember, this is the same guy that made Stella go bonkers and act like an alien.
Oh god, well, still Stella performance is amazing.
so there are some things you just can't trust Zach with.
Yeah, I feel like from that lesson they know not to trust him. But like I said before, it just continues to keep on piling up with everybody saving stuff into the cloud. That memory is continuing to run low and low and low, which is not good for Lisa in this case. I mean, like you're trying to make sure that this doesn't break or anything like that. That the app is supposed to work properly, but with the low memory stuff, it's going to go haywire. And
yeah, and too late, it does go haywire.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. So even with the whole memory stuff, they I also thought about this too, and I'm like, why would you want to make that into remotes? I'm like, you're putting everything into remotes, and I'm like, are you sure you want to do that, considering that their app is pretty much controlling all appliances now?
My God, like honestly, like I know we live in an age where technology is, really advanced, but this is a little too advanced, if you know what I mean.
I feel like it's too advanced. Plus, I don't think it's necessary, but whatever. I guess we want to make it a smart house now because it feels like it. Because considering like if everything's gonna run on your phone, it's pretty much a smart house. So you can like turn on your air conditioning, you can turn on your vacuum, you can turn on your toaster.
Watch, this episode's gonna predict the future. Okay, like in 2030, we really are gonna have smart houses.
I know. I forget about that movie too. Okay, so to say the least, yeah, continuing to pile up and pile up and pile up, and eventually that whole thing is going to break. And then right after this scene is when things start to get kind of haywire. So the family has relied on the loud cloud a little too much, as it has caused systems to go haywire, jumble up the information. Some examples include Rita getting misdirections, Lenny wanting to show Rita a dress, but instead she got Lisa's science equations, which means in the other end, Lisa would actually show Lenny's fashion in a presentation. Lincoln tries to meet up with his friends, but he ends up getting wrong directions, which ends up with him going into the water. Lola is trying to go to a ribbon dance, trying to make a ribbon dance, but at the end, she ends up with Lucy's music instead of her music, and then swapped around too, where Lucy is trying to make a funeral, but then you get to hear Lola's music instead. Lynn Sr. getting prepared to cook in the kitchen, but then all the appliances start to turn on him. To say the least, things are going bad for the Louds after what's been happening with the system and everything. Your thoughts on this moment here?
Yeah, honestly, like I said before, there's going to be some sort of catch to it, or the app is going to backfire in some way, shape, or form. And would you know it, because of the Louds like over relying on this app, on the system of the app, of course, the whole entire system is not going to work as well. And let me tell you, they have learned this the hard way. Like, of course, Rita, Lisa, Lincoln, Lola, Lucy, Liz Sr., and oh god, the most severe of all, I think the worst of all, is when Luna tries to play a song for Sam,
oh my god,
but instead of getting music, she gets the one stuff. So I'm just like, okay, that's it. That app has got to die. Lisa, look what you did. Look what you did. Rest of us, let's just salute like that. Your app is garbage, Lisa. 0 stars.
Oh my god. I wasn't gonna bring up Luna until later. But yeah, no doubt it definitely is going haywire, to say. I mean, Lincoln was trying to find his friends. He ended up going into the lake. Lola is trying to do her ribbon dance for her pageant, but Luna's music comes in. So how the heck is she gonna even dance when Lucy's music is just haunting music? So it's like dark music coming in. How the heck are you even going to do a ribbon dance? And then the opposite came for Lucy as well. Look, I love the fact that really poppy music comes up, and then of course this is a funeral, so you're expecting like gloomy, sad music. Instead, you get high and poppy music, and of course the girl is definitely like, "What the hell?" It's like I don't know what she was. I don't know what she was like drowning. Looks like it's a fish. So there was a funeral service that's going on, and I'm like, why would you bring up poppy music? And I'm like, yeah, this is not really doing well so far. This whole cloud system that they're based off of, it looks like it's going haywire, considering that all the stuff that they're doing is actually switching over to other things.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty funny how like you got Lola and Lucy switching music, and it kind of goes to show how there's still this Lola and Lucy chemistry that we've seen from their episodes, TTL Heart and She's All That.
I
Like
feel
there's
like
still a bit of that there.
yeah. I have a feeling like it reminds me of a certain episode. If you remember, what was it? That one episode of the Casagrandes at Breakfast Spot kind of feels like that, right? Where like it's not really a robot that's controlling everything, but it's a cloud that's controlling like all the appliances and everything that's pretty much making the louds miserable. So
Yeah. Yeah. I it does give me that feeling.
right. So after a rough day, Lincoln and Lisa tries to shut down the computer, but they are unable to do so. Then they come to the conclusion that they must destroy this whole computer to delete the loud cloud. Lincoln destroys it by shooting lots of tennis balls, and onto it, the cloud is destroyed after that. Your thoughts on this whole climactic scene where Lisa and Lincoln try to defeat this computer?
Honestly, honestly, this is giving me sort of like this Mitchell's versus the Machine vibes, where it's basically man versus technology.
Kind of does, huh?
Honestly, you know what they should call this? The Louds versus the Machines.
It's the Louds versus the computer in this case. Well, then again, in the Mitchells versus Machines, it was like pretty much a phone app that was controlling everything.
Exactly.
It's true. It's actually it is true. It actually is the same thing. Yeah, because the Loud Cloud is an app, but it's controlling the louds.
It goes to show you that even phone apps make for very effective antagonists.
It's so weird. I feel like where the way that the writers end up making it, it feels like they're just trying to make a copy of whatever Mitchell the Machines made. And by the way, good movie, by the way, if you haven't watched it. So
yes, one of the best of the year. I love that movie so much. I adore it.
And I say this though, it looks it just feels like it somehow. Like, okay, yeah, don't mess with machines or else it's going to ruin your life.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. I like this sort of like deep commentary on how we as humans tend to over rely on technology because let's face it, like I said, we live in a day and age where technology is pretty much at its most advanced. So because of this, we tend to over rely on stuff like apps, phone screens, and and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the thing. Like, it's good to rely on technology, but there's a certain point in which you rely on it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't trust on your phone, guys. So yeah,
that's not what I'm saying.
They destroyed your whole computer. Sorry, they destroyed the whole computer and everything, and it looks like everything looks to be fine. The cloud is pretty much all closed up. The family. So after this whole loud cloud situation, the family plans to go back to their sticky note situation, but Lincoln and Lisa comes up with this idea that is better for both of the sticky notes and the loud cloud. It's not actually another app, but this time it's actually a whiteboard that the family can keep track of reminders without any hassle whatsoever. So this whole whiteboard idea came up with Lincoln and Lisa. What were your thoughts on this little ending here?
Yeah, so honestly, I like the fact that they're going to a whiteboard because of the fact that how it's not, it's not over convoluted like the cloud, and it's not over complicated like the sticky notes. Like, it's somewhere in the middle. It's really nice. You know what? You know what we should call this? Like the loud board now. Like, honestly, they should call it. We're gonna call it the loud board.
I guess. I think I love the fact that, like, I know that the whole sticky note system is definitely not good. So at the end of the day, they end up going with a whiteboard, which is pretty much simpler, a much simpler thing that Rita can actually pick up with, so that all the siblings can actually write for mom and say like, hey, pick me up here. Oh, hey, do this. Hey, do my homework. Hey, check my homework. This kind of stuff. So, I thought this was kind of crazy. I think this is kind of cool that they kind of rendered a resolution like this. So if anything, they actually made it better for Rita's sticky note system. because they all know now that the signal system kind of sucks. So in the end, they end up still making something that is a little bit better for Rita to work with instead of actually using a an app and all.
Yeah, I agree. It's somewhere in the middle.
All right. And I got nothing else to say. Omid, anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes. I just like to say that I really like the duo of Lincoln and Lisa. This really does go to show that they really do work together, like with Lincoln's planning and Lisa's brains. They do manage to make some sort of like dynamic duo, if you know what I mean. It's really awesome. And also I like the fact that like when Lincoln comes home like all angry, and then when Sears cowers of fear, it's like, take Todd! Take time.
I do like this episode because considering that it is like the dynamic between Lincoln and Lisa will look to be amazing. Because we never see Lincoln and Lisa like team up like this for a while. I think the last time we saw them together was just because of the David Steele episode. Is that right? Is the last time we saw those two together?
It was a David Steele episode, but then again, it was Lincoln, Lisa, and Clyde. It wasn't just Lincoln and Lisa alone.
Right. So I like this whole dynamic. It feels like they're cool between brother and sister. So I really love that whole team up with this whole sibling bond together with these two. And of course, I do want to point out for all you Luna fans, there are Sam and Luna moments that happen here. I like the fact here where like Luna. I like the fact here where Luna just comes out and just like she literally sings a song. She literally sings a song. And she says, "Girlfriend Sam," and I'm like, "Oh my god, okay, this is just a little moment here."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so but then the whole moment kind of sucks considering that Luna sang the wrong lyrics. Oh, great! They actually, I love the fact that Luna actually pointed out that Sam's Luna's girlfriend. Sam's Luna's girlfriend, yeah. But then the lyrics were bad, and Sam ended up not liking the song. Oops.
Loud Cloud is evil. Loud Cloud is evil. Lisa, Lincoln, never do this again.
If any, I don't know. I mean, the system was working. Maybe you should do a lot of stuff for your siblings in order for the cloud to work, or get more memory, or get a literal server for them to actually make it work instead of actually having whatever Lisa's computer was.
Honestly, this is the worst thing to ever come out of a Loud Cloud situation. Nothing else comes close. Nothing.
Oh god. If anything, this reminds me of like apps and stuff like that. So don't really trust on your apps, or else it's going to ruin what's going to happen to you. So that app especially.
Yeah, trust apps, but don't rely on it too much.
Right, that's a good way to phrase it. Okay, I got nothing else to say. So Mead, what would you rate Loud Cloud?
I would definitely rate this a 9 out of 10. It was definitely a really nice Lincoln and Lisa episode. It does show how when the two combine, they can make a damn good app. And also just by the fact that it presents a deep commentary about how, like I said before, humans tend to over rely on, technology, machines, and all this stuff up to a point where it becomes malfunctional, and how when we use technology too much, it can really run out of memory, and it can end up causing errors and stuff like that. So I do like the fact that there's that. And also Luna and Sam food, more Luna and Sam food, gimme.
Oh my god. I gotta say, this episode wasn't bad. I do love the dynamic between Lincoln and Lisa. It looks like both of them are good as a duo together, especially with the fact that they can team up and have these sibling bonds. I love the idea, by the way, of the Loud Cloud. It looked like it was going to be a really fun functioning system, but then once things continue to go on, adding more and more, I understand how it gets kind of flawed. And of course, the whole resolution at the end kind of reminds me of like you said, I mean, Mitchell versus Machines. So I feel like I had this whole vibe of Mitchell versus Machines where they need to destroy the computer for them to actually get back to the regular lives. So in the end, it ended up working that way. And in the end, they found a better solution for this whole sticky note system that Rita has. And I kind of like the fact that it first started with the whole sticky note system, then it continued on with everybody else's problem. So at least in the end, they ended up trying to fix Rita's problem. And who knows, it may have worked out in the end. So I give this an 8 out of 10. Definitely, it was still entertaining, but there was like some hiccups here and there. But it definitely is kind of not really that stellar of an episode. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Definitely a watchable episode. All right,
That's
let's
right.
move
Loud,
on.
loud crowd. We just talked about loud cloud.
All right, let's move on to the next episode, and it's called The Ought to Know Better. A synopsis here says Yolanda creates an auto body shop to try and buy a new bike, but her shop turns corrupt when Flip becomes a mentor. So the episode begins with Lana riding her old bike. Look, it's not exactly a good bike considering that it's continuing to break and malfunction and everything. She then spots this brand new cool looking bike, which she wants to ride because it's going to be her dream bike to say. But the other thing too is that it's not that cheap. It's not that free. I mean, obviously the bike looks cool, but it's $300, and definitely she's that young. She couldn't be able to actually get that much of allowance to actually earn that money. So, first off, your thoughts on Lana, because it looks like she really wants this bike because her bike definitely is busted. It sucks that she couldn't be able to do it considering, she is broken all.
Yeah, honestly, when I looked at this and I see Lola and her old bike breaking off, I'm just like, Lana, you need a new bike. And would you know it, she happens to find one that actually tends to be more like a hybrid of a bike and a motorcycle. Like, especially when you look at the design, yeah, there's definitely a bit of that element that definitely feels very motorcycle-ish. That's what makes it awesome.
I feel bad for just Lana itself. I mean, I see Hops and Lana literally riding together, and it just continues to break. And as a kid, she's just a kid, just having fun out in Royal Woods, and then having a broken bicycle definitely is not really working for her. So obviously, for a kid who wants to like look for a better bike, will look no further than that whole dream bike that she looked at in that window. So I mean, why not? I mean, it's not really a motorcycle. It's literally a bike. It's just that there's a side for another passenger, which would be Hops in this case. But I kind of saw that and I'm like, okay, yeah, Lana, this is definitely your dream bike if you ever want to grab it. But yeah, $300 is definitely not going to be worth it for her unless she actually ends up earning money somehow.
Yeah, and at her age, it's kind of impossible to do so. I mean, with a kid her age, like usually kids like her, what they do is that they manage to do like something like lemonade stands. I mean, of that, like each lemonade costs like 5 cents or 10 cents. So good luck with that. But actually,
Yeah,
no,
definitely bad for her.
With a kid like Lana, she actually managed to do something that's 1,000 times better than a lemonade stand, and we're going to talk about that right now.
All right. So Lana would actually so what happened actually was that she was actually like kind of depressed the fact that she couldn't be able to get the bike, but unfortunately one of her classmates ended up breaking his bike, considering that it was like broken when he couldn't brake, and it got broken. Luckily Lana was able to fix it, and in the end the guy ended up paying her some money. And that brought up an idea. Why don't you actually fix up why don't you actually fix up your people's bikes, people's cars, and everything? Because you are a mechanic yourself, you might as well earn that for money to say. So what are your thoughts on this idea for Lana?
Yeah, honestly, we've been waiting for an episode in which it mainly features Lana as a mechanic for a long time. Like I said this long ago, but honestly, I'd love to see an episode in which it centers around Lana being a mechanic. And would you know it, I got my wish. Because, it's very impressive for someone at her, like at such a young age, she manages to like fix anything like bikes, cars, or whatever. Like she pretty much knows what's up in terms of automobiles and stuff.
What do you think Bobby Fletcher wants her in her team?
Yeah, that's true. She's got a bright future ahead of Bobby Fletcher. And honestly, we've seen her work with Bobby Fletcher even at this age. Look at the Loud House movie.
Exactly. And I'm impressed with what Lana's doing. I mean, if anything, she's actually helping kids out when it comes to their bikes and their cars and everything. So this brought up the idea for Lana to actually make a mechanic shop for herself. So she would make a perfect garage to set up shop. And so she was actually thinking about actually making a garage for herself. But the thing is that the only garage that she could be able to find would be her garage in the Loud House. It's unfortunate though, considering that everybody else is also sharing that whole garage. This causes Lana to find another garage to stay for a mechanic shop. So let's actually go back to that whole garage where Lana is with Lincoln. But where Lana is with the Loud House. You can totally understand why Lana wanted to move, considering that all the Louds wanted to still be in the garage.
Yeah, Of course, Loud Garage would be ideal for Lana, but the problem is that like there's so much junk because well, there's like 11 kids, so of course you would expect it to be like this piled up, this like you expect junk like this to be everywhere, and then of course you got you know characters like Lincoln as David Steele, like playing around as David Steele. You got Luna Loud playing in the garage. And then you got
You got
Lisa with
Lisa
the
with her
toxic.
chemical. You got Lisa with her chemicals, literally burning up a car because of whatever chemicals that was on there. And I'm like, this is just
like,
oil. I thought it was
what
just
was that
oil,
doing
but it turns
there?
out to ruin everything. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, what was that doing there? Yeah, exactly. It's very highly dangerous, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, I know you work with like a lot of chemicals, but girl, I don't think this is worth it, especially with a car like that. We also get to see Lincoln play as David Steele, but it just feels like this kid here just loves to be David Steele.
Oh yeah, David Steele is back.
What happened to Ace Savvy? I'm guessing he's just outgrown Ace Savvy, became a spy superhero like David Steele.
I think like he's taking a break from Ace Savvy. I don't think he's gonna quit it entirely. But he's pretty much expanding his interests, and of course, he expands his interest by getting into super spies. It's not just
Yeah,
superheroes in
yeah.
this too, but it's also super spies as well. I'm sort of wondering what he's gonna get into next. Like, what's this? What's gonna be his
It's
next
still
thing?
cool to actually see Lincoln as David Steele. It just tells you that he's more interested than comic. Well, he's more interested than just superheroes. He's interested in spy movies. What else is next? Racing movies or stuff like that. We don't know what's going up with this kid, but I feel like whatever he loves next, we're gonna see later in the Loud House to say. So I do love him as David Steele. He definitely has a different. It's a different flair of who he is, like as a person who loves comic books and everything. So it's not all about Ace Savvy for Lincoln. It's all about David Steele too. So it's nice to see that he changes variety when it comes to like what kind of comic books he's into. So yeah, there's that. I mean, just seeing him like be David Steele in like most of the episodes we've seen in season 6 is pretty cool.
Yeah, look at that. He's just having so much fun with it. Like that kid's having so much fun with it. We're happy for him for that.
And then, of course, Luna's definitely ruining the fact that Lana's just working on the
Yes,
car, and
let's go.
Luna, you're just ruining Lana's work here.
Hey, my girl's gotta practice her guitar playing. Go on, she's got a big gig coming ahead of her. So can't really blame her for that.
Yeah, to say the least, Lana definitely doesn't feel good with the garage, considering there's so much distractions around. So she would go out to find another garage somewhere, and wouldn't you know what? She actually did find a garage. It's actually Flip's garage. This is where Flip learns about Lana's desire for bike money, and he would he would help out Lana set up shop there, but only if Flip gets some of Lana's cuts of the money. Okay, so first off, Lana, why would you want to work with Flip? I feel like when I heard that, I'm like, this is gonna be something bad from coming up, huh?
Yeah, honestly, like I like the fact that when Lana pretty much discovers his Flip's garage, Flip actually tells her that originally it's just like some sort of like game cave for his raccoon pet Nacho. Yeah, look,
he's like our
raccoon,
life.
like Nacho's a gamer like we are. Like, what's next? Is he gonna pretty much open up his own Twitch channel and call it Nacho's Gameplay 2?
I love the fact here, like, yeah, I know. I love the fact that you have a man cave here. Literally, you just have food all over the place, like pizza, popcorn, and like Chinese food, and then you have all the controllers in one box here. It definitely is like a gaming cave for sure. And I love the fact I didn't actually put a picture of this, but it felt like he was actually playing Tom in this in Minecraft to say.
Yeah, he's playing Minecraft. You can definitely tell. Look, he's playing Minecraft.
No, like but did you see the username that he lost to? It says Tom. It's not in the picture, but they said defeated by Tom, and I'm like, oh, Todd from Lisa's robot, huh?
Yeah, it turns out Todd's a player too. It's like, yeah, honestly, I like the fact that like Nacho is a gamer. Like I said, go to Twitch and follow Nacho's Gameplay 2.
Oh God,
just.
But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, look, they're gonna clear out that garage. They're going to make it become Lana's garage. And to say the least, yeah, Nacho's gonna find another place for him to game in this case. So it turns out that much of the surprise of nobody, Flip turns out to be a crook as he rips off customers like Rocky's dad, Scoots, and Cheryl and Meryl by damaging their vehicles on purpose and replacing them with Flip's junk. Lana thinks this is messed up, but in the end, Lana continues to agree with this. Your thoughts on what's happening here? Because I thought Lana has a good heart, but she actually does play along with Flip.
Okay, of course you got Flip, much to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Okay, we all expected this, we all called it, we all knew it was coming. Flip, of course, managed to be his Flip self and rip off other people's money by messing up with the vehicles and all of that, so that he could put like his own crap there and make it look like the actual thing, and then have them overcharge. Like he even has a thing called a beefy, like business fee. Yeah, I don't think it stands for business fee. I think it stands for something else, which I'm not going to say because I like to keep this live stream rated PG. Anyway, back to this. So pretty much you got Lana going along with it, and I'm just kind of surprised because I know Lana is desperate for a bicycle, but come on, like for you to listen to Flip and become like Flip in order to do this, that's sort of going down the wrong path, don't you think, Lance? And let me tell you, I'm just surprised. Gonna say this right now. I'm going to say this right now, Lana Loud, you auto know better.
Wow, just like the title. I'm just gonna say this though, Lana. I mean, you actually know that this was actually wrong. I just don't understand why she ended up actually becoming Flip to say. Literally, what was it? Ruining, literally seeing Flip just ruin bicycles, ruining scooters, ruining cars, and then I totally see what Lana's doing. Like she's trying her best to say like, hey, we can't do this. Hey, why did you break off the pedals? And all this stuff. It just continues to add more and more fees, which means that more and more fees come up for Flip. Obviously, you already know what Flip is. He's like an antagonist, definitely an antagonist in this episode, because he's literally scamming other people in Royal Woods for extra money for himself, and also extra money for Lana in this case. I'm like, Lana, this isn't good for you. I mean, I thought you were the sweetheart and everything, but yeah, especially the fact in that last scene where we get to see Lana try to fix a van with turkey jerky. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're actually listening to Flip and everything.
Yeah, honestly, like going down this path, like I would imagine like Lola going down this path instead of Lana. Like Lana's supposed to be, the nicer one, and then Lola Loud is one supposed to be.
I feel like so bad for Lana, considering that she's probably getting pressured, especially with Flip and Nacho, literally just saying like, "Hey, we're doing this for your better because you want to get that bike, right? So we're doing whatever it takes to get your bike a little bit faster." By cheating in this case,
pure pressure.
I just I understand Lana's just 7 years old and she's pressured with Flip and Nacho. I just feel bad. I just feel like really angry at Flip, considering that he's literally skeezing a young girl to be like him and get like more money and everything.
Exactly. So. He's manipulating her. It's not really Lana's fault. You can all point the blame on Flip and his flippin' raccoon pet Nacho.
He does. I can't with this, man. I mean, I thought Flip could be a little bit better. We've heard about this a whole lot, but he just continues to be like a on and off character. Like, oh, you're good one time, and then you end up being terrible the next. And in this one, you actually are terrible. So like, honestly, I'm so sad. I'm like so not surprised, but at the same time, why would you do this, Flip? It just makes you look bad.
Tom is best character for beating Nacho in his game. Like, honestly, Tom is the real hero for beating Nacho in the game.
Yeah, I don't think Lana. I mean, especially this part here where Lana literally agrees to use Flip's jerky. Yeah, jerky. Yeah, uses Flip's jerky for spark plugs, and I'm like, girl, this isn't you. Yeah, I'm so bad. Like, why would you like Lana? You should know better. Don't be like under Flip's like control to say.
Well, she's 7 years old. Keep in mind, she hasn't reached like 2-digit age yet, so it is natural for her to pretty much be this manipulated at this age. Because for one thing, she's desperate to, she's desperate for a new bike, okay? And you can't really blame her because the old bike, is pretty much falling. It's kind of like how when you have an old rusty car and then the car breaks apart, so you have to find a new car. It's kind of the same thing.
Right. So yeah, after all the manipulating and all the money that she ended up getting extra for pretty much fixing and also refixing other things from everybody's vehicles, she actually did end up getting that $300, and she was about to get that money until all the things start to fall apart. Was it she fixed the van that got broken up? She fixed the scooter and that got broken up. To say the least, from all the things that she repaired upon, especially under Flip's influence, they all turned out to not really be bad. What did you know that this was gonna come? It just feels like it was gonna hit Lana eventually.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like sooner or later, Lana would come around and see that, excuse me, Lana Loud would come around sooner or later and realize that what she did was wrong, because she does have a heart, she does have a conscience. And then when she sees the Fox family struggling because
Mm-hmm.
of her wrongdoings, she thinks to herself, "Oh God, what have I done? I should go fix this." Like, having a new bike is all good and fun, but it's not worth ruining people's lives over.
I know, and thankfully Lana was actually able to help them out. I mean, in this situation, it does make sense why Lana definitely feels bad, especially with the fact that like this whole family. I'm not gonna say their name because I want to surprise everybody. um, but yeah, this whole family definitely wanted to go through Dairyland. Unfortunately, they couldn't be able to because all their cars pretty much screwed up because of what Flip did. Literally just took out the spark plugs. It was supposed to be a simple tire rotation, but in the end, Flip literally ruined their car. I'm like, why? And again, you get to hear Lana continue to be a part of this just to fix it and everything. So yeah, it's not good. It definitely wasn't good. But I love the fact that like Lana did end up getting a change of heart, and in the end, she actually would go back to her own garage and actually gets honest service this time. So after all the guilt that she's gone through, she's not gonna obviously get the bike anymore. She's literally gonna spend money on pretty much fixing their cars. But in the end, she may not get the bike, but in the end, she does end up getting her garage again and hopefully earn it this time around without Flip. So, what are your thoughts on this little ending where Lana finally gets her garage back and finally gets a garage in the Loud House again? And this time around, being truthful instead of being like a liar, like what she did back with Flip.
I like the fact that Lana has a change of heart, and then she pretty much puts out a garage. You know, she pretty much has her own mechanic service in which she says honest service at an honest price. Really good on Lana for putting her mechanic skills to use, and for good use this time, like not being a crook like Flip. Um, so yeah, I definitely have to say that I really hope we get more episodes that focus on Lana and her car mechanic business.
This reminds me, do we have any more Lana episodes this season? It feels like this is like the one Lana episode that I've seen that I definitely took a heart with, just because Lana, as just a 7-year-old kid being peer pressure with Flip, it just takes my heart, especially that one scene where she had to fix the quintuplet's car to say.
Yeah, with this, I think like I could be I don't think I haven't checked on the episode list like after the episodes we're going to talk about, but if there's ever a future Lana episode, I hope his episodes focus on this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I definitely do love the whole change of heart that Lana has, and it definitely is gonna be it's gonna be definitely better for her. If anything, it's definitely a growing thing for her, considering that she's just a little kid and now she knows who to actually trust more than relying who to go to instead of relying on another person to say. So yeah, she ends up opening up the mechanic garage again, but then she aims to run it herself. The unfortunate part is that Flip doesn't like it. And I do love the fact that like in the end, Flip does actually announce like what he did, where he like literally just cheats on the other person's car. In the end, he gets chased by those people. So how did you like this whole ending here where Flip gets hated on by other people?
This is what you like, but this is what you like to call Flip getting caught in 4K, but then Flip catches himself in 4K. Like pretty much like Flip says out loud all the stuff that he did, and then of course it leads to the customers who got screwed over by Flip going after him, like chasing like an angry mob. And I'm just like, good, that's what he deserves. Make Flip into a beef jerky himself.
I love this. I love the fact where he literally just boasted out and said that he did all of this for my extra money. And then I love the fact that like everybody else listened and they chased him down the road and everything. So in the end, this is karma getting to you, Flip. Thankfully, it worked out. It definitely worked out in the end. So hopefully Lana definitely works on her garage, and hopefully get to see more episodes where Lana gets to fix up like people's cars and everything.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, she gets more money. He'll get her bike eventually. You just got to be patient and all. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the episode. You want anything else you want to bring up in this episode?
Yes, there are actually some characters that did pop up, some familiar characters that we want to share with you right now. The first one's being, of course, Darcy and Millie appearing again.
Where have you guys been? Where have you all been?
Where you been?
I swear to God, that's the last time you guys were here. Like, save Royal Woods. Was that the last time I saw you two? Like,
yeah, but they've had 3-second non-speaking cameos. Here is no different. I'm just like, when are they going to get prominent roles again?
I know, exactly. But here's the thing, like, I get to see Darcy again. I get to see Millie again. So it's like, oh, cool. We get to see, kids in Lana and Lola's age that are friends with Lana. So I'm happy the fact that they still mention them. It's just the fact that they don't get, any return roles to say. I mean, for Lola and her friends, we end up getting Cricket having another role. For Lisa, we don't really actually see much of her friends, like David or Darcy in this case, actually come back. So it's like, at least we get to see them, but can we at least let them talk, let them actually hang out with Lisa, or let them hang out with Lola? I mean, you're just putting them in, just putting them there.
I kind of want to see like a Darcy and Millie.
Oh, you get confused with Marcy and Darcy now, I swear.
Why did I accidentally say Marcy? Okay, back to this.
Marcy's looking at you, by the way. Just a heads up.
Love you, Marmar. Anyway, why don't we get Darcy and Millie episodes that are pretty much them hanging out with Lisa and Lola respectively? I like that.
If anything, yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. I'm going to talk to the Loud writers. I'm hoping the Loud House writers know about Millie and Darcy, that they were actually good characters for them. I mean, we remember their episodes back in previous seasons. So if anything, can we have them hang out with Lola or hang out with Lisa again? Because
Rocky was a good character too. Rocky was a good character too, but what happened to him?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, gone. I just feel like he's not, we always keep on saying, Rocky's where? Where is he? Who is he? You know, I feel like they're just like, we're going to answer that anymore.
And speaking of the Spokes family, we do have Rusty's dad that makes an appearance too.
To be fair, like, we always get to see more of Rusty's dad again, because it feels like he's becoming like a more predominant secondary character. I mean, that one episode where he was dating, was it
Catherine Mulligan?
Catherine Mulligan, yeah. I mean, it just tells you like he's becoming more prominent. I mean, he literally also did have an episode called Save Last Pants. He literally was a part of that episode too. So, if anything, it just makes him more of a secondary character, more of a prominent secondary character. And I'm like, well, how about Darcy and Millie? Can we at least have them be like as prominent like Rusty's dad? Because at least Rusty's dad has more, like, showtime, unlike Darcy and Millie, where we just see them for like 5 seconds and the episode's over.
Yeah, and another thing too is there's actually there is a particular family that we want to share with you. The particular family that Lana feels bad of screwing over and helps them out. Take a guess as to who it is.
I already said quintuplets. And no, it's not the anime quintuplets, okay?
It's the Fox family.
Okay, so I haven't heard them in forever. The last time I heard of them was, I think, Sitting Bull.
Yeah, Sitting Bull.
Yeah, because like I remember,
Coop Dreams also.
Oh yeah, Coop Dreams too. But I'm just saying, like, oh cool, we get to see the kids again, but they're not with Lynn this time, they're with Lana. And I feel bad for the parents considering that they have to deal with these 5. The fact that they're
look
like
so tired. They look so tired.
I know. And it makes sense for them for the kids to actually go to Dairyland so they can actually at least rest up and have the kids actually have fun and everything. So it was a good plan from the dad and the mom. But in the end, yeah, we also did get to see what Lana did, where she ruined their car. And then I do love this whole scene here where like, they definitely are sad, but Lana's there to help out at least. So I felt so bad for them. Like, I know that they want to go to Dairyland and they couldn't do it just because, they could be able to make it considering their cars just like ruined and everything. So this whole scene here definitely kind of like broke me. I'm like, oh wow, the quintuplets are definitely felt sad for because they really want to see Dairyland and everything. And I love the fact that Lana does come up in the end and actually does help them out and actually fix their car properly compared to what she did with Flip and Elle.
Yeah.
Quintuplets, man, I can't believe we actually see them again.
I know, but they're crying though. Cover your ears. You may want to cover your ears though.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much breathing waterfalls now. Yeah. All right. I got nothing else to say. So, Mead, let's go straight to our review. So, Mead, how would you review You Ought to Know Better?
I'm just gonna say it's gonna be an 8 out of 10. It was definitely a worthwhile Lana episode. Of course, it gave me a Lana episode I've been wanting for a long time, which is Lana Loud as a car mechanic, and it actually manages to work out well. She actually manages to learn not to trust a crook like Flip, and pretty much do things like fix cars in the honest way. Pretty much working her way to get the bike instead of like taking the easy way out and screwing other people's lives over just to get what you want. I do like the fact that like it's natural for Lana Loud to learn at this age, like at 7 years old, because even though she's a pro at car mechanic, it does show that she still has much to learn about it.
So I would rate this also an 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, I did love the fact that Lana is the main focus of this episode. I understand Lana's peer pressure, especially when Flip just continues to ruin it, and she just keeps on getting influenced to actually follow with Flip. But I do love the whole change of heart that Lana ends up in the end, where she, understands that this is all bad. And she ends up going back to her own garage and fixes everything up for like the Fox quintuplets or Scoots, for example, or any of the other characters that she was able to fix their cars with. I think Lana knows by now it's like the hard road is the best way to go through instead of taking the easy road, or else it's going to bite you in the butt. So Lana at least learns about this more, and hopefully she doesn't go back to Flip and ruin stuff and all. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Really good episode.
Yeah, let's just hope that in the next Car Mechanic Lana Loud episode, we never see or hear from Flip again.
For real though, I mean, I feel bad. Like, definitely, Flip is the antagonist. I'm like, wow, how bad are you going to be? Because it feels like you're getting worse, especially when you're hanging out with the other loud crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand. Okay, so let's actually head over to our next episode that we're going to review. It all aired on the 23rd. So let's start off with the first episode that came out on the 23rd called The Orchid Grief. Synopsis here says, when Lincoln and Clyde overwater Howard's rare orchid, the two embark on an adventure to replace it. So the episode begins with Clyde doing chores when Lincoln shows up and tells about this whole limited edition David Steele comic book that is made of steel. It's just, unfortunately, they couldn't be able to actually go together considering Clyde is doing chores. So instead, Lincoln and Clyde, being the brotherly duo that they are, Lincoln helps out Clyde when it comes to doing these chores. So your thoughts on how this episode starts, considering that, it's like Click and McCloud. They definitely are a good friend duo to say here.
Yeah, I like the fact how when Lincoln shows up and he pretty much expresses how, we got to get this new David Steele limited edition comic. It actually is made out of legitimate steel. I'm just like, I like what they did there. A David Steele comic book. Now that is quite a steal right there. And also, you see Lincoln and Clyde. I like the fact that how Lincoln is a really good friend to Clyde because he helps him out with the chores. Of course, even though there is pretty much one particular action that he takes, which causes the situation, but to be fair, he didn't mean to cause the situation, and we're going to talk about this situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I actually liked about the first scene. I'm like, oh, okay, Lincoln at least comes up to help Clyde out. And again, more Click and McCloud interactions. I never seen these two actually have Click and McCloud interactions. So I thought this was cool to actually see these two, have their brotherly moments. I haven't seen that in quite a while to say. So if anything, coming in, knowing the fact that it's a Click and McCloud episode, it just tells me like, oh, we're going back to the good old days where Click and McCloud used to have their fun high and low episodes to say.
Exactly.
So as they do the chores, Lincoln does overwater that orchid, and unfortunately, Clyde was too late to warn him about not overwatering it. Because of that, the orchid does pass out. The orchid apparently is a rare one, and Clyde explains to Lincoln that it's a symbol of their love between Harold and Howard. So Lincoln and Clyde realizes that they messed up and they have to resolve this. Oh, so what are your thoughts on this story of the orchid here?
Um, Now, I really do like the myth of the orchid. Well, not really the myth, but more like a backstory of why the flower is so important to the McBrides. And it actually shows like a symbolism of the love between Howard and Harold. And honestly, my heart like glowed. I was touched by it because it shows the romance between like two men, and the fact that an orchid pretty much symbolizes the love between Howard and Harold, because we've seen ourselves how sweet they are as individuals and to each other. Like I thought to myself, okay, like honestly, the orchid is actually a really big deal. At first I thought it wasn't, but yeah, Lincoln, I know it was an accident, but you kind of messed up with this one.
Kind of did mess up, but the thing is that he didn't know any better. I mean, he just watered the plants, and when he was going to water the orchid, he didn't get any warning from Clyde. So to say the least, he was innocent at the time. He just
Well,
that
yeah,
he should have known better from Clyde to say.
yeah, it's definitely not Lincoln's fault. I would say like Clyde should have told him, so it's definitely on Clyde, not Lincoln.
I do love the fact that the whole story of this orchid became such a big like love bonding between Howard and Harold, because it feels like this origin story all started because of an orchid, and it's cute. I mean, cool. A flower was able to bloom its flowers um, to express the love between Harold and Howard, and I thought that was cute. And also, every year, it just keeps on blooming. So I love the fact that Howard continues to cry. Was it is Howard the one that keeps on crying, or was it Harold?
Um, it's Howard. Howard's the
Yeah,
one that keeps
Howard's the
crying.
one that kept on crying every time it blooms and everything. Oh, we already saw the fact that they went to the past and saw how this orchid all began. I gotta look at this though. We get to see small Clyde. Oh my god, it's a little kid Clyde. That's pretty cute.
Protect small Clyde at all costs.
uh, I mean the origin story of how Clyde was with Harold and Howard. Hopefully they actually give us that story if anything. But small Clyde is there. Hey, we can see a flash back to the past and everything.
It's small Clyde. Look, I love how his eyes are wider, like as a kid, than his current age.
It's what the kids are. I mean, I guess that's how they draw them like that. But yeah, I mean, even every time the flower blooms, Harold just continues to just weep, and I'm like, okay, I'm guessing just because it just has a symbolize of love, and it makes sense why he just continues to bawl like that.
My God, honestly, between Howard and the Fox kids, like honestly, like if they combine their tears together, they could make Niagara Falls. I
Oh
have to
dear.
say.
Don't give him any ideas now. It just reminds me of like those like animes. Oh, well, it reminds me of like Pearl, for example, where she cries and then she makes a big waterfall that comes out of it.
That's exactly what I mean. Like, Pearl's got some big competition between, all these characters.
So since the orchid is a quite a rare flower, they can't go on a flower shop and replace it. And the thing is that they actually go to Lisa to make sure to see where this like flower is grown from. And apparently it's grown in the air. It's grown in the area of like the swamps in Michigan. And the thing is that they have to go out there to retrieve it, Clyde and Lincoln. Unfortunately, Lisa does warn them that this swamp is going to be dangerous and all. Unfortunately, they don't listen to her. So what are your thoughts on this whole idea of go to the swamp and pick up this orchid?
Okay, I what I do like is how like you got to look at Lisa's close up as she reminds them of the dangerous turrets. Like, look at that image right there. That is such a boss image of Lisa. Just look at this.
um, but yeah, I mean, look, Lisa definitely just puts up the words in peril, saying like, "Don't go to the swamp, or else you're going to be facing danger." I mean, the warning kind of will tell you that the swamp is going to be bad. But I understand Clyde's like desperation for trying to get a orchid, just to make sure that they're was it that his dads end up becoming like very nice after all.
Yeah, I like the fact that how Lincoln and Clyde would still go anyway, because it does show how Clyde really cares about their dad's relationship, and how Lincoln also cares about his friend's mission and his friend's dad's you know, love as well.
So so Lincoln and Clyde would go out to the swamp here, and it feels like it's definitely dangerous for sure, considering that there are so many obstacles that came all around for them. They had to go through all of these like was it slippery terrains, alligators, quicksand, Venus flytraps, and even mosquitoes, like huge ass mosquitoes. What kind of swamp are they in? It feels like it's like something out of like out of a fairy tale book to say.
Yeah, when I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, that is one dangerous swamp. Honestly, like, look at this. Like, there's pretty much all these weird creatures everywhere, and of course, there's a 99% chance you won't survive. So I'm just like, I'm kind of surprised that two kids at that age managed to survive a dangerous swamp like as long as they did.
I can't believe there actually is swamps like this in Michigan. I thought there was like swamps in Florida more than Michigan. So I feel like this is something not you don't see this at all in the Loud House. So it's like what made the writers end up making this kind of like scary swamp situation? Is it just because it's like a Halloween thing, or is it because they just wanted to make it like stand out for Lincoln and Clyde that this is going to be a dangerous adventure, that they had to go through all of these mosquitoes and alligators and quicksand and a lot of all these obstacles? I'm like, guys, they're just kids, and I understand they're trying to find an orchid, but this orchid apparently is very hard for you to find, especially during the swamp where it's just a lot of treachery and a lot of obstacles that you got to go through and all.
Yeah, honestly, like this feels like something that would come out of like Toll Drama Island.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Kind of does.
like this is giving me like Toll Drama Island vibes, and then I'm picturing Lincoln and Clyde doing a challenge so they won't get eliminated. I get that sort of feeling.
I don't know. I just felt like these kids are definitely out for danger, and I understand Lisa did say something about the danger when it comes to the swamp, but I feel like they're definitely risking their lives, especially with the whole quicksand situation and this whole Venus man traps, plus the whole big ass mosquito that literally sucked the beaver out. I was like, oh god, that's scary. I didn't expect that. I actually didn't expect to see that from a kids show and all.
Yeah, honestly, like they should have tried their luck with eBay to see how much they would get from an orchid. But then again, considering how easily it would get scalped to death, I think the swamp was still a better way to go.
I also do want to say this though. I mean, there have been situations where Lincoln literally was about to be like eaten by like the Venus man traps, or to be in quicksand. How do you like the fact that Clyde literally came to Lincoln's rescue and all?
I really like that. It really does show how he's got his back, and like Clyde, despite his appearance, despite what he seems, he's
Despite
not
that
afraid
he's
to go.
scared. Yeah, despite that he's scared. I love the fact that like even if he's scared, he still stands up and tries to save his best friend and all. It's just
Exactly.
like
That's what
cool Click McCloud thing here.
it's actually true bravery. That's what true bravery is. Like bravery, like isn't really the opposite of scared. It's more like bravery is sort of like going out of your way to rescue a person or do a thing, despite the fact that you're scared.
And I do love this whole like hug where Lincoln and Clyde literally was it Lincoln definitely hugged Clyde just because he saved her life. He saved Lincoln's life and all. I thought that was adorable.
Clyde saved his boyfriend's life. Clyde,
Oh my God.
there's a Clyde moment.
Where's the shippers at? I know the shippers are definitely gonna love that. Oh my God.
Our good friend Neo being one of them. Like honestly, when he looks, is like, yep, that's Click and fuel right there.
Indeed, yeah. So after facing all those obstacles, Lincoln and Clyde retrieved the new orchid, but it's being stolen by a man in a beekeeper's outfit. This causes Lincoln and Clyde to pretty much chase after this mysterious man. I find it so weird the fact that this guy just randomly pops up and just steals the orchid. What were your thoughts on just this random moment where this guy just steals the orchid?
Honestly, when I looked at this, I thought to myself, I actually know who this guy is. I could tell.
I kind of feel like it's Mr. Grouse or Flip. When I first saw that, I thought I was like, Mr. Grouse, Flip, Mr. Grouse, is that you? From the way I'm looking at it.
Mr. Grouse isn't really that athletic because he's old, and then of course, like Flip is much fatter than that. The fat lord he is.
I mean,
like,
you couldn't figure out who the person is, considering that it's so concealed and all. So when I first saw it, I'm like, it got to be Flip or Mr. Grouse. It just feels that way.
Honestly, no. When I look at the body shape, I think I have a good idea of who it is.
I seriously thought it was actually Mr. Grouse, to be fair. But I love this. Like, okay, so I really took it at the right moment here when I took this snip. They literally were smiling at the orchid until the guy just stole it from them. Okay, so that was like, I think that was a mistake, by the way. I'm like, yeah, cool. You were able to. This is actually like a no context picture in this case.
Plus, why would Mr. Grouse want to steal an orchid? Why would Mr. Grouse want it?
So I don't know, maybe just for like his flower collection, maybe to have something to decorate in his house. That could be something cute, you know?
Yeah, but I wouldn't imagine him as an orchid kind of guy.
Yeah. And it's so this leads up to this whole chase where Lincoln and Clyde need to, chase after this one guy. What was I gonna say? And it led up to pretty much them just, trying to chase after the boat and making sure that they could be able to get the orchid. But unfortunately, they had to face through some obstacles too, like alligators, mud, and even tropical fruits. I'm serious. They went through tropical fruits.
Tropical fruits! Oh my gosh! Like, look at tropical fruits are like a deadly obstacle. They're delicious. I eat fruits every day, but let me tell you, when the fruits hit you, yeah, it's kind of hard
What?
to.
I'm
get
more
through.
like they grow this in the swamp, and the other thing too is that this is definitely a comedy thing. I'm like, I get it, you're trying to get the laughs and all, but what the hell? I'm like, what?
Hey, eat your fruits every day. Fruits are nutritious, so good for you.
Whatever. I just felt like that was just for comedy relief and all. So Lincoln and Clyde definitely lost the track to this boat, but they end up going to another boat controlled by Mr. Bullhopper, surprisingly. And when he heard about this whole mission about love thing, he actually agreed to help Lincoln and Clyde out with this mission. So what are your thoughts on having this whole chase scene here, and how do you like Mr. Bullhopper actually helping Lincoln and Clyde out when it comes to finding this orchid?
Yeah, I kind of like the fact that how even Mr. Ballhoffner, of all people, would help Lincoln and Clyde out in their time of need. Well, he was reluctant to at first, like he sort of denied it at first, but then Lincoln said that it's a mission for love, and that's when Mr. Ballhoffner decided to change his mind and actually go out and pretty much help them retrieve the orchid because he was in love once. Like, I kind of don't want to know his love backstory.
You don't want to know his love story.
At the same time, I'm kind of curious about it.
Right, but that's just hilarious. I'm like, okay, so after one love story that made you want to agree with them, because the thing is, like, it's so random. Like, you were thinking that it was just going to be Lincoln and Clyde in the swamp, but Mr. Bullhoffner comes up surprisingly, same with Scoots and everybody from the retirement home. So it's like, wow, so random that they came up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, I thought it was just more for Lincoln and Clyde mission, but no, we end up getting Mr. Bullhopper come in and driving a boat and all.
Yeah, you never expect it to be Mr. Bullhoffner. It actually turns out that like he could do like more stuff than just teach.
Well, he does a lot more stuff than teach. I mean, you get to see his like cabin out in the woods, and you get to see what he does out there.
I mean, like pretty much as a job. Like we all know teaching is his job, but I didn't know he has a sort of side gig.
I'm just surprised to actually just see randomly Mr. Bullhopper come in. I'm like, really, Mr. Bullhopper, you're the one who actually is going to help out these kids when it comes to this whole chase, just to make sure that this orchid goes back to Lincoln and Clyde.
Yeah, apparently he is.
So this whole chase scene happens, and it turns out they actually do go to the orchid thief, and apparently this orchid thief turned out to be Harold. So he was looking for an orchid too. When the orchid gets ripped up to shreds by the fan of an airboat, Harold admits that he killed the orchid too many times. He's been meaning to replace the new one. The three feel defeated and left with no choice but to tell Howard the truth about this orchid. But how surprised were you the fact that Harold was the one that was behind the whole outfit and all?
Honestly, I saw it coming from a mile away because who else would retrieve the orchid, first off? And second off, like I said before, it's the body shape that kind of gets me. And my first guess was, in fact,
really
Harold.
But I just felt Mr. Grouse when I first saw that. I'm like, I expect Mr. Grouse, but then I think, to be fair, when I saw Harold, Harold be the one that was actually behind the whole beekeeper's outfit, I was surprised myself. I was shocked, to be fair. So they actually got me with that one.
Yeah, it was still a good reveal. It was still a good twist because it turns out that Clyde wasn't the only McBride going to retrieve the orchid that symbolizes the love within the family.
And the thing here is that yeah, they did destroy the whole orchid and all. But I love the fact that after they destroyed the orchid, they actually revealed the secrets of why they ended up picking up the orchid because Howard thought that it was gone and that's why he needs to replace it. And then they heard about Clyde and Lincoln killing it, so they had to replace it. Nonetheless, both of them do have a issue, do have their same reasoning why they need to make sure that orchid comes back. So yeah, it was
True
it
that.
definitely it definitely was something, especially when they try to reveal the truth and all. So sorry, after the three of them fess up to Howard, it turns out as much as he loved the orchid, he hated to also replace it again and again because he has too much time. He pretty much killed it also as well. And what kind of sucks is the fact that like every year that orchid comes up and that those tears that Howard was crying on was tears of sadness instead of tears of joy. So now that Howard actually told Harold about the whole issue with the whole orchid, they were actually Howard was actually relieved to actually hear about that. So how did you feel about this whole reveal about how Howard said that this flower is not good for us?
Okay, now that was a reveal I was surprised at because you do know that Howard, like he's the more vulnerable type. Like he's the more lovey-dovey type more so than Harold is. You didn't know him as the more feminine one of the two. So it's kind of surprising how well he takes the orchid being gone, and he takes it a little bit too well. Actually, the opposite. Like he takes it extremely well up to the point where he's relieved about that because like he too was getting sick and tired of having to replace the thing. So I'm just like, okay, good on Howard for feeling this. Like nobody wants to keep on replacing the same flower over and over again.
So
It's too
yeah,
exhausting.
I do love the confession here. It just feels like Howard. I actually, to be fair, I actually was surprised about that too because I thought Howard was gonna cry considering that they don't have the orchid anymore. But I just felt that was a surprise considering that Howard doesn't like the flower as well. So the fact is, like throughout this whole entire like years that they were together, they were just pretty much tortured by a flower that symbolized their love instead of kind of coming out of the truth and saying like, I understand that this flower does symbolize our love, but to be fair, it is a tedious flower that I cannot manage with. So I needed to get this out of my hands.
Also, small Clyde again. Small Clyde
I saw
again.
that too. Yeah, small Clyde. Aw. I feel bad for Howard though. I mean, after hearing that and the fact that it always keeps on blooming every year, it just tells me that Howard was faced with this torture all throughout when they ended up adopting Clyde and so on and so on. Yeah, it's not good. um, so he cries out sadness that he would never be able to was it get rid of it. He also tells her don't need the orchid anymore, the love is already enough. The episode ends with the dads taking the boys to the comic shop to get the limited edition David Steele comic by using that whole boat to get them over to the comic book shop. What do you like about this ending here, because it feels like okay, kind of a short old ending there.
I kind of wanted to see the David Steele like Steel edition myself. Like honestly, I wanted to see an ending where Lincoln and Clyde actually do get the comic, but instead the episode closes off on the Lincoln and the McBrides being on their way to collect the David Steele comic book. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, after
unfortunately.
all, and I'm just like, after all Lincoln and Clyde have been through, honestly, like they deserve to have it. Like we deserve to see, they deserve to be seen actually having the comic by us.
JL should be able to actually see us, see how this whole David Steele book is going to be. I mean, they did waste pretty much most of the day trying to find this orchid. In the end, at least they could be able to get them to see this whole book. Nonetheless, it just pretty much, I don't know what they did, why they ended up actually having a boat, literally just drive all the way through Royal Woods to get to the comic book shop. I don't know why they need to do that. They could have at least had like some sort of other car to help them out instead. But yeah, I found it weird, especially that ending there.
But still, I like the fact that the dads do give the boys the right to go get it.
yeah, it just sucks that we couldn't be able to see that book, but yeah, whatever. I got nothing else to say from this episode. Of me, do you have anything else to bring up for the Orchid Grief?
Okay, I just gotta say this. There's gonna be a sequel episode, Orchid Grief 2, the Click of a Cloud edition, where Clyde goes back to the swamp again, but this time it's him trying to get the orchid for Lincoln.
Oh my god, really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh no.
We want a Click of a Cloud version of Orchid Grief. We want a sequel to it. Let's go.
Is he just gonna give it to Lincoln just for like what? Like the
It's
Click
a
of a
symbol
Cloud?
of their love. It's a
Oh,
symbol
God.
of their Click of a Cloud. It's a symbol
Okay,
of love.
look at Click of a Cloud fans are definitely gonna be loving that. Definitely the shippers out
Yes.
there. Like I said, I got nothing else to say about the Orchid Grief. So let's head over straight to our reviews. I mean, how would you review Orchid Grief?
I would definitely rate this an 8.5 out of 10. Like I love the Click of a Cloud dynamic in this one. Of course, they pretty much go through trials and tribulations, go through dangers to go and get the orchid, which was really sweet. Of course, I like the fact that how Clyde goes out of his way to like save his best friend's life and also save his dad's marriage at the same time. That was really awesome. I do like I do like that there are two reveals, two big twists in this. One was that it was Harold that was going to retrieve the orchid the whole time, and the other was that like Howard was getting just as sick as the orchid as like Harold was. So I really like that. And yeah, like I said, all in all, really good Click of a Cloud vibes.
I think the only thing that kind of made me like this episode was the fact that the Click of a Cloud vibes. I thought that was the only cutest thing there. The rest of the episode was kind of like hit and miss. I mean, there were some funny moments that happened over there. There was a lot of random moments that popped up, like Mr. Bullhoffner out of all people to come in. I mean, to be fair, I kind of felt this was like what was it, Roughing It 2? You know, where they actually went out to find something, like Roughing It in the one episode in season 1. I kind of felt like it was going to be Roughing It 2, but instead it turns out to be like a whole rescue mission to find an orchid, which to be fair is not that bad, but I felt like it was kind of mediocre to say. I mean, with all the things that were popping up out of random, like tropical fruits out of all places to go to the river. Mr. Bullhoffner, like I've explained before, the twists were actually pretty cool. Was pretty interesting. I mean, the twist when Howard was the one that wanted to get the orchid as well, or when Harold was the one that didn't want to. Harold was the one to get the. Harold was the one to try to get the orchid, and then Howard was the one that said that this orchid is definitely a nuisance and stuff like that. Yeah, this whole episode I say was okay. Maybe it could have been done a whole lot better. I give this a 7 out of 10. I didn't find it to be really funny. I thought this was okay to say. More Small Clyde, by the way. I love the fact that they went back to the past and actually get to reveal a Small Clyde, which is pretty cute. But yeah, the episode was okay-ish to say, not the best to say.
Small Clyde, Small Clyde.
We need more small folks. I mean, let's see if we get like small Ronnie Ann, if anything.
Yeah, we got small Lori, we got small Luann.
Small Lenny, I think, was there too.
Yeah,
maybe
small
not.
Lenny too. Small Lenny too in a flashback.
But yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, we get to see like the kids' little siblings also, which I thought was cute. All right, last but not least, let's talk about the other episode that also aired at the same day as Orchid Grief. I think we're all saving the best for last, obviously. Let's talk about the next episode that came out that day called Forks and Knives Out. Synopsis here says Lynn Sr. is about to compete on a televised cooking show until he finds out who he's competing against. So this episode begins with Lincoln and Lynn Sr. playing video games, when all of a sudden Lynn Sr. ends up getting a invitation from Guy Grazer. We know about him. He's a guy who always loves to rant on other restaurants. I mean, he did that already with Lynn Sr.'s restaurant.
Gordon Ramsay.
He pretty much is Gordon Ramsay. But nonetheless, I believe he likes. But nonetheless, he does love the cooking, and he actually invited him out to a restaurant competition. He first asked Luann to join, but she already is booked on a performance, which means Lincoln is going to take place as Lynn Sr.'s assistant chef to say. So what are your thoughts on this scene here?
First off, I just got to ask, since when did Lynn Sr. get into video games?
No, I don't think he ever did.
Or maybe he's just learning video games in order to bond with Lincoln. That could be another thing. Second off, I really do like the continuity in this. because
Thank
I
you.
like the fact.
Thank you. Somebody said it. The continuity of Luann being the chef and all. We've seen Feast or Family.
Yes, Feast or Famine. I was about to say. I like the fact that Lin Senior asked Luann first before asking Lincoln, because Luann typically has had more, chef experience than Lincoln, given Feast or Family. So that makes sense.
I do love the whole continuity part here because it's like when he asks first Luann, because Luann was the one who pointed out about Guy Grazer, and I love the fact that Luann was literally in the same room as Lynn, opening up and getting the invitation from Guy Grazer, that he asked Luann first, and it just tells you the continuity that happened because Luann was a chef before for culinary arts. So it gets to be flashed back to like season 3 where they aired that episode. So I thought that was good continuity when it comes to their end, because we need more of that.
I agree.
Yeah, we definitely do need more of that continuity for sure. But yeah, and oh god, I lost my train of thought. So then Lincoln becomes the new chef. What are your thoughts on Lincoln becoming the assistant chef to say?
Honestly, I think it's really awesome because, in a way, this is sort of like similar to a previous episode in which they teamed up as father and son when they pretty much were competing in this game show.
It's kind of like Legends, right?
Yeah, they were competing. It's sort of like Legends, in which it brings back the father and son duo together. Lincoln and Lynn Senior competing in a game show. Only except instead of Legends, it's actually a cooking show.
So it's actually more favored toward Lynn Senior. So it's kind of like the feeling like the opposite of what Legends was. Legends was more because of, was it Lincoln and Lynn Senior actually liking like the original TV show and all. And this time around, this is going mostly toward, this is mostly favoring Lynn Senior, considering this is more cooking. And at least Lincoln is there to actually help out and all.
Yeah, that's what I like. It comes full circle.
Right. So I thought that was cool to actually get a callback when it comes to Legends, considering that they both work together in a competitional show like that to say. So great. So the father and son duo arrive at the competition show called Kitchen Combat, and their opponents, their opponents would actually turn out to be, well, interesting. Let's go straight to it, okay? Because it turned out to be a great show. Yeah, cool. You get to see Guy Grazer literally start off this whole Kitchen Combat. Looks to be pretty cool. You get to see the introduction of both Lincoln and Lynn Senior. Yes, they're both introduced and everything. But then the other thing too is that we forgot who's their competition. Like, who are they going to compete against? We never actually heard about this throughout the episode. So the mysterious person is like a mystery for us. Like, who is it going to be? Another chef in Royal Woods, another chef somewhere else. Funny, believe it or not, it's the Casagrandes.
Yes, yes, let's go. Another Loud House.
I can't believe it. We're back. The Casagrandes are back in the Loud House. Is this the first episode where the Casagrandes are back? Is that we're gonna count it now?
Yes. Oh my gosh! Like, it makes me so happy to see Lincoln and Ronnie-Ann like together in the same room again. Like, of course, you got like Ronniecoln here, so Ronniecoln fans. Like, literally, come get your food, and I'm not talking about the food taking place in the contest.
Okay, so I think we already knew before the episode aired that Ronnie-Ann is going to come back to the Loud House. So how surprised were you the fact that she's now back? She's back in the Loud House. This is the one episode we've been waiting for, to see Ronnie-Ann come back to the Loud House and, be a part of the show.
Yeah, honestly, like, this man should do what season 5 could not, and it was have Ronnie-Ann appear in the Loud House. Okay, like, this episode is pretty much like, saying screw you to season 5. Okay, because season 5, one of its biggest problems is that lack of Ronnie-Ann. Okay, and it's like this is like, okay, at that point I'm just like, yes, season 6 is definitely a major step up from season 5.
It was just amazing just to see. I mean, out of all places, like, oh, cool. Like, if you didn't actually see what's going on Twitter, I would imagine like a fan who was watching the Loud House literally just watches and sees like, oh, Lynn Senior and Lincoln are going to compete. But who are they going to compete against, considering that they don't know who the opponent is? And then that it was going to be the Casagrandes. I would imagine a lot of fans are just definitely going to be like all high hopes. The fact that Ronnie-Ann and Rosa are back. So it's like, yay! Yeah, we're all excited. We're all excited already. Just the fact that Ronnie-Ann and Lincoln are back. Rosa and Lynn Senior, the chefs of both the Casagrandes and the Loud House, is back. So it's like, oh my god, this is definitely the one episode we've been waiting for, right? Two chefs working it out. I mean, it feels like it was
Yes.
definitely destined to. It was definitely destined to happen, right? To actually have Lynn Senior and Rosa compete.
It was tu destino.
Yeah, in this case, yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Louds and the Casagrandes are back. Obviously, the two teams embrace each other, tell them that they don't want to compete harshly first, by the way, because they're friends. Obviously, Guy doesn't like that, considering that Guy Grazer definitely loves some drama, especially on his shows. And the thing is that they were all competing for a refrigerator, right? I mean, it looks like a really nice refrigerator. So, what are your thoughts on this whole reunion? The fact that Lincoln and Ronnie are back, and you get to see Lynn Senior and Rosa competing in this case. It just feels like this is a family reunion happening in this show.
Okay, I just want to point out the fact I love the hugs that pretty much that occur that take place. Oh, look at that! You got Lincoln and Brian hugging, and then if you notice, if you look closely, like at the actual clip of the episode, you actually see like Lincoln when hugging Ronnie Ann, he kind of nudges his face a little bit, like the nudge, the nudge.
Oh my god!
like the nudge is just
I get
like
it. I get it. Like he
it.
definitely misses Ronnie Ann, and it showed there. I was like, oh god, yeah, I miss it. I miss the hug. We seen Lincoln and Ronnie Ann, hug it out and all. We haven't seen that actually because we always see them like literally virtually call each other. I mean, the last time we saw Ronnie Ann and Lincoln together would be Skatey Cat, where Ronnie Ann literally needed help from Lincoln. So, yeah, in this case, we haven't seen them physically like be hanging out together. So at least here we get to see Lincoln and Ronnie and finally meeting up together, and I thought that was beautiful.
The nudge.
So yeah, this reunion definitely was long overdue. I mean, yeah, definitely long overdue. So for the first two challenges, the two teams actually are getting along great, and it even makes small happy talk amongst each other. Guy, of course, is definitely not having it, so he tries to make it harder for the two teams by actually doing a first challenge by cooking breakfast. So they have to fight for each other for the ingredients, and for the second challenge, they have to fire eggs at each other. Nonetheless, it just feels like it's not much competition between the two of them. So your thoughts on this whole friendly competition instead of actually making a competitive show like what reality TV cooks, but like reality cook TV shows supposed to be,
Yeah, honestly, Guy Grazer, if you're trying to spark up some sort of like fierce competition between the two families, let's just say, like there was, but let's just say there was, but buddy, you're 3 seasons too late, okay? Like the last time this happened was Loudest Thanksgiving, and ever since then they were cool.
It's been a good like family bonding between both the Louds and the Casagrandes. So, I mean, I don't know if Guy Grazer just didn't know about it. I feel like he didn't know about it, but it just made me think that Guy Grazer just didn't know that the Louds and the Casagrandes were actually like two families that actually were close together and everything. So obviously the first couple of challenges, they end up being nice and all. Like they end up like sharing ingredients. And even through the challenges where they actually fire eggs, they actually help each other out with the eggs and everything. So it's like, okay, I'm guessing they are really cool. This is definitely not a fun and exciting show to watch, especially for Guy Grazer.
Yeah, because the thing is with competition shows, like game shows like this, usually you got to have some sort of like drama in these game shows or reality shows. Why do you think
usually it's like that, but you always get to see like people on the side saying like, "Oh my god, I just oversalted my tamale. Oh my god, I just like over peppered my eggs. This is like sad and something like that. I have to make it all over again. Oh, running out of time. That kind of thing."
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I like how they're all chill, they're all happily cooking together. I also like Lynn Senior's pose right there. It's just like
it's the salt meme.
The salt meme. It's a salt meme. I see Lynn Senior with the salt meme. It's like I'm not the only one who saw this and recognized it.
It's a very old meme, by the way. I didn't expect them to actually bring it back at all.
Yeah, hey, it's like, and then the salt is a nice touch of Lynn Senior bringing back the meme.
Yeah, and even with the whole egg challenge stuff, they end up actually helping. Like in this case, the Louds helped out Rosa with her egg cooking, and then also the Casagrandes did the same thing where Rosa fired eggs at Lynn Senior for his cooking. So to say the least, even with this whole egg challenge thing, it turns out it helped them out nonetheless. So to be fair, it turned out to not really be a competitive TV show at all.
Yeah, if anything, it was like a friendly It's one of those things where it's kind of like when you go to a friend's house and you have a fun game night, no, no tension or anything like that. It gives you that sort of feeling.
Yeah, it just feels like they are just really chill. So it does make sense why Guy Grazer doesn't like it, just because the drama of the show. I mean, the show always wants to be real with drama. The reason why a lot of people love to view that, but since it's
Exactly.
just been all chill, obviously Guy Grazer doesn't like that.
Like total drama, for example, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
You want the total
So
drama in your reality show.
yeah, so neither challenge actually helped them when it comes to being competitive and all. So Guy Grazer ends up actually revealing more prizes to them. And the grand prize actually is now a brand new kitchen. And this actually causes Lynn Sr. and Rosa to actually rethink. Later on, Lincoln and Ronnie Ann go against each other harshly themselves because they also did add a Froyo machine. So to say the least, with all of these new prizes being added, it feels like the competition is definitely being there now. So your thoughts on what Guy did, and now this whole competition between the Louds and Casagrandes are happening?
Okay, now it is on. Now it's pretty much the Louds and Casagrandes competing against each other fiercely. And of course, it took like a fancy kitchen in order to make that happen.
I am not surprised. I mean, getting a fancy kitchen for whatever place you go to. So, for example, I'm pretty sure Rosa's apartment will probably have this kitchen. I would imagine it would definitely really work for her. And then same goes for Lynn Senior and his restaurant. So having this kitchen definitely makes sense. Why they're both excited for it.
Yeah, I would imagine like Lynn Senior, like this will really up Lynn's table. But then again, yeah, or what if he pretty much uses the kitchen to make Lynn's table 2 right next to Lynn's table?
No, this is not the SpongeBob movie, okay?
Imagine it's be like, hello, I like cooking. What inspired you to move the kitchen and move a Lynn's table 2 like all quick across with the original? Cooking.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah,
then
good
of course,
classic movie.
and then you got Rosa. It would definitely work with her because, of course, she would use that whole kitchen to make tamales and all that stuff. Oh God, look at this! Like,
It just
look
feels
at
like she's showboating. It just feels like she's showboating here. It just feels like I don't understand this part.
all
But
this stuff is like I would imagine you like Rosa singing, "I need a hero."
Oh God. I thought she was actually doing karaoke in this. She looked like she was gonna sing or something when she was actually posing.
Like,
But nonetheless, I mean, definitely we would love this. She would definitely love the kitchen. It definitely goes for Lynn Senior as well.
like
Although, look, I understand Lincoln and Ronnie Ann were saying like, "Hey, we don't want to be competitive. Hey, what happened to not being competitive? We want to be friends. You know, we're good families." Until Guy Grazer end up bringing out the Froyo machine, and Lincoln and Ronnie Ann, they're competing too. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, honestly, I like the fact that it took a Froyo machine for just Lincoln and Ronnie Ann to compete, because well, kids love Froyos, and then of course, like I like how they couldn't care less about the kitchen; they just want the Froyo machine. It's like, if you want the Froyo machine, it's on.
Yeah, it definitely is on between these two characters. Look, I understand. I mean, it's ice cream. I mean, it makes sense. Frozen yogurt. It definitely is a frozen treat that every kid would love, especially having it in their house. I would imagine it definitely is great for Lincoln and Ronnie Ann to have. I mean, hey, unlimited frozen yogurt. That's great to see.
Ronnie Ann, your inner season 1 Loud House selfish
No,
showing.
don't talk about that. No, don't talk about that. She's
Ronnie
a better character now.
Ronnie Ann, your old Loud House season 1 selfish showing. Now it's time for her to channel that. Like she's channeling her inner old Ronnie Ann.
So let's see. So the thing is that this whole competition now got intense. We also get to see them cheat. Your thoughts on like the ways that Lincoln and Ronnie Ann were just cheating between the other teams?
Wow. And you thought Lana's ways in, you ought to know better were dishonest. Look at this. Like you got, Lincoln and Ronnie Ann pretty much cheating, like throwing each other out like.
Yeah, I mean, when Guy Grazer goes out and says anything goes, so it makes sense why these budding families would end up actually trying to compete against each other. I mean, even through this whole dinner service that they were going to go through, they literally tried to fight for certain ingredients. So I want to go back to this part here where like you get to see like was it Lynn Senior get a onion? Of course, Rosa needs the onion. The onion left the whole pile, and then you get to see Lincoln end up with the onion, and then Ronnie Ann tried to tackle her down. So yeah, this is getting kind of crazy now to say. It's intense now between these two.
It's getting great, but at the same time, stuff like this helps get the views, so that's why Guy Grazer wants this.
Exactly. So yeah, this is now becoming a swift competition. We get to see Lincoln literally loosen a salt shaker in the Casagrandes side, and then of course the result of that, a lot of salt and eggs. So oops, the tamales are now too salty.
Yeah, real slick move. Lincoln. You just hope that Ronnie doesn't become too salty when she loses this one.
Oh Jesus!
The salt is real, guys. The salt is real. The literal salt is real.
Oh, and they were like laughing in the background too. Oh, what's going on, Loud? Why do you do that?
Look, I love the father and son bonding right there. It's like they kind of snickering. It's just awesome to see.
And then obviously the Casagrandes would obviously do something back to them. So Ronnie Ann would be the one to actually head over to the Loud area, and she was about to pretty much give them something hot for them to taste. So I didn't expect Ronnie Ann to also be like this. What the hell?
Like I said, her old self is back. Temporarily.
So she ended up actually putting like hot sauce in the lasagna, or in the tomato sauce. And of course, it's just way too hot for them. So he ends up like breathing fire. Sorry for Lynn Sr., but also at the same time, Lincoln also had the taste as well. So oops. Okay, this is getting kind of crazy to say.
Okay, not the worst thing Ronnie Ann has done to Lincoln. Look at the many pranks that she has done to him. She's done worse.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that makes them like, you know, bond together. Just the fact that those three that you know, they always love to prank each other. I mean, they do have a prank anniversary after all.
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, in terms of this is just a regular Tuesday.
I guess that's the way to say it. So yeah, the Casagrandes also got them back. To say the least, this is just getting kind of crazy. I mean, even Lynn Sr. had to also come in as well. He literally like oiled the whole floor and obviously made them mess up. So those tamales that Rosa was making were definitely messy now.
And then because of the oil spill, you see Ronnie Ann and Rosa like slipping and falling and causing their ingredients to pretty much fall, spill, make a mess and stuff like that. So they got him good.
Yeah, they definitely got him good there. And then, oh, I do love this part, by the way. Okay, cool. So you messed up with the Casagrandes. Get ready to face with whatever the Casagrandes are going to give to the Louds. So I do love this, by the way. I do miss Rosa's chanclas. I remember that. Remember this? Where he, like, she's about to throw down chanclas to the Louds. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I forgot. Her chancla is the one that is the reasonable force when it comes to the Casagrandes. If you mess with them, you gotta mess with the chancla.
Yo, honestly, Rosa for Nick Brawl now. Like Rosa and Nick Brawl. Let's go.
What?
Rosa with her chanclas would be way too so OP of a character for Nick Brawl.
That just makes me think, like, who would be better in a chancla battle? Would it be Rosa or would it be Camilla?
Honestly, it's like I said before. I want to see a chancla off between Camila and Rosa, but unfortunately, Nickelodeon and Disney TVA are two separate companies. So, like, if
they can't make it happen, unfortunately.
If by any chance it can't merge or anything like that, that's what crossover fanfics are for.
That's true. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I love thinking those crossovers and stuff. But yeah, chancla battle happening. So yeah, Rosa ends up punishing the Louds with the chanclas, and yeah, it turns out to be all bad. To say the least, the competition definitely is breaking up their friendship. And Guy's plan pretty much is working. But when Lynn Sr. and Rosa mentioned that Lincoln and Ronnie Ann have to say goodbye to each other, that's when Lincoln and Ronnie Ann literally said, "Hey, stop the fighting." That they've gone too far. That they point out their elders how far it has gotten. They realize that they were wrong and apologize to each other, become friends again. This causes them to quit the whole competition and for Guy to get angry and get chased by the angry robot, which he calls him dumb. How do you like this whole resolution first? Like the fact that they're about to actually split families. And of course, when he said, like he said goodbye to Ronnie Ann. I'm like, oh no, please don't do this now. I really hope these two are together. And I love the fact that Lincoln and Ronnie Ann literally said, stop doing this whole competition. I thought we were friends and everything. So yeah, it was almost the end of the Casagrandes Loud House was it duo together.
I just gotta say this. I already hate Guy now because of the simple fact that he almost broke up Ronniecoln. He almost broke up Ronniecoln, guys. Don't forget, Guy Grazer is the enemy of Ronniecoln.
In this case, yeah. But I do love the fact, like in this line, do you remember what they said here? It's like, I remember there was that one time where like Rosa literally said something about Lynn Senior's turkey. This reminds me of a flashback back to the loudest Thanksgiving, for example.
Yes, the Turkusi was it the Turk? It was his it was a combination of turkey, goose, and chicken.
Yeah, when I just heard that, I'm like, wait, what? Flashback to Casagrandes back in the Thanksgiving, right? That's the last time they actually went to the the Loud House, but they also do have Cursed. I forgot about that episode too. So yeah,
and I do like how
kind of crazy.
I like how Lynn Senior compliments Rosa on her tamales as well. It's a nice touch because Rosa has been serving tamales in the Loudest Thanksgiving.
That's true, and the other thing too is that her tamales are the ones that definitely are the best. I mean, everybody loves Rosa's tamales. Same it goes to Lynn Senior's cooking as well. So to hear all of that, you already know that this is just going to be a bad feud. But the fact that Lincoln and Ronnie Ann had to stop it, how'd you feel that they're the ones to say stop this whole competition? We're breaking up the families and say.
I love the fact that it's Lincoln and Ronnie Ann being the peacekeepers. Like they're the more sensible ones than the adults. I really like the fact, and also just by the fact that it pretty much highlights how Ronniecoln is so powerful. Like just by the fact that they don't want to be separated, they want to stay as friends, and hopefully maybe even more in the future. Really, this goes to show how like they can't really let a family feud stop what is their precious friendship.
Exactly, yeah. And I do love the fact that Ronnie Ann and Lincoln were the ones to pretty much stand up and say, stop this whole competition. Yeah. And in the end, Rosa and Lynn Sr. do end up, forgiving each other. And in the end, they do quit from the show. I feel like that was a good stand for both the Casagrandes and the Louds to say, enough of this competition. We're both great families. So we decided to just quit here and there. I felt like that was a good move from them, considering that they were actually making a good show out of it all. But in the end, they quit, considering that they don't want to break up any more of this friendship, to say.
Yeah, and so the Loud House of Casagrande friendship and bond continues on, which I really like. I want to see more of these Loud House of Casagrande bonding episodes. We're going to get one with Lenny Carlota, by the way.
That's coming up soon. I can't wait to see that when that happens. Yeah, and don't forget, next this Friday we do have a brand new episode of The Loud House that features the Casagrandes. Don't forget that episode.
Yes, and then Lincoln Loud be like, "Great Lake City, here we come."
And the Louds are finally going to Great Lake City. So if anything, oh my God, we're going back to Great Lake City. Does this tell me that the Loud House is going to also feature them in Great Lake City? That's going to be fun, right? So that means the Casagrandes are not done yet. The Casagrandes are not done yet, right? Right, Trey?
Yeah. So honestly, it's this going to be a sun where it's like, we're going to get more with the Casagrandes episodes like we did in season 4.
I hope so too. I mean, we don't even know how the episodes are going to be running in the Loud House, but I just hope that we get to see more pop up when it comes to the Casagrandes, especially Great Lake City, because I miss everybody in Great Lake City. So
yes,
yeah. It's definitely going to be something to watch for, especially for this Friday, for sure. All right. I got nothing else to bring up from this episode. Omid, do you have anything else to bring up?
Yes, I just got to say this. I was going to say this. Ronniecoln! More Ronniecoln, and then you got the hug, and then you always remember the nudge that occurred in the hug. And also, nudges are powerful when it comes to hugs. And also, look at this. Also,
I just feel like it. Yeah, I just feel like it definitely was an amazing moment to actually see Lincoln and Ronnie Ann hug again. And it has been forever, by the way. The only times I've seen Lincoln and Ronnie Ann hang out was in the Casagrandes, where Ronnie Ann literally calls Lincoln up to see if he can help him out, help Ronnie Ann out when it comes to like certain problems. I mean, Skatey Cat, for example, that was the only one example I could actually bring up that was obviously Lincoln and Ronnie hanging out. I mean, you also talk back to Cursed. That's the last time they actually physically hanged out. And just to see them come back in this episode tells me that the Casagrandes are actually going strong in the Loud House. So, if anything, the Loud House is doing well to actually preserve the Casagrandes. Yes, I know the show is over, but to see at least a couple of the Casagrandes here just tells me like there is possibly some good chemistry coming in between the Louds and the Casagrandes. So I'm just happy the Casagrandes are back in the Loud House. I just hope we get to see more episodes of the Casagrandes when it happens, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing too, I also want to bring up. I feel like animation definitely has changed for the Casagrandes, especially the fact that the Loud House people that are working with the Casagrandes. Do you notice that there was some animation stuff that were different when it comes to the Casagrandes and the Loud House?
I actually didn't. I thought that the animation looked kind of the same. Like there's
Kind of. I mean, I looked at Rosa's designs, and it feels like they're brand new eyes that came out to say. I mean, look back at a couple of these, like this, for example. I don't think we actually saw Rosa like this or anything like that. Like it feels like there's brand new facial features. There's brand new, things that pops up. I don't know. It just feels like there's new things coming out for the Casagrandes.
But then again, to be fair, we've seen weird facial features from Rosa before. Remember the stare that Rosa gives to Hector?
Oh, right. Nonetheless, I mean, at least they're trying to like work out something, considering that it is the Loud crew that is working with the Casagrandes. So if anything, they're doing pretty well when it comes to getting the Casagrandes into the Loud House. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. I think that's all I could say about Forks and Knives Out. So let's Forks and Knives Out. Yeah. So let's go ahead and head over to our reviews. Omid, the Casagrandes are back. So what are your thoughts on having them back into this episode?
I love having the Casagrandes be back, and also not only that, but pretty much bonding with the Louds. And it makes me think we need more episodes like this. Like as much as I like Loudest Thanksgiving, found Cursed okay. I really like seeing the Louds and Casagrandes together, but I'm just like, we need more episodes with the Louds and Casagrandes, like in their own personal episodes, where it's pretty much one or two Louds and one or two Casagrandes together. With each other. Like for example, we're getting Lenny and Carlota. We're hoping to get Carl and Adelaide and Lana and Lola. We're hoping to get
Bobby and Lori episode in college.
Bobby and Lori. We've always gotten Lori and Bobby episodes. That's kind of the thing. So I don't know.
But you don't see them in college. You always get to see them in the Louds or the Casagrandes. I mean, if they actually like hanged out in Fairway College. Oh, they did actually. I forgot. There's that one episode. But
Lisa and Carlos.
Yeah, that too. There's that one episode teed off. I forgot that they actually did have Bobby and Lori hang out in the college.
Yeah, I'm just like, we need to have Bobby like visit Lori there much more often, like you just pointed out.
But yeah, there is more like I would imagine like, nonetheless, I was gonna say like I wasn't gonna imagine like a couple of the Louds actually hanging out with a couple of the Casagrandes. Not really the Casagrandes family itself, but Casagrandes like secondary characters. Like I would imagine Lynn and Becky becoming friends.
Lynn and Becky, really?
Yeah, I mean I can totally see that. They're definitely tough people. I can see that they actually have a fierce competition.
Okay, like I kind of want to see a fight between them. Like It'd be more interesting to see them as enemies rather than friends.
I guess, yeah.
So like a rivalry sort of thing.
Yeah, a little rivalry between the two of them. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like there is going to be some good chemistry between the Casagrandes and the Louds. I just know that it's going to be mostly about the Louds and the Casagrandes, but I swear to God, like they really do need to bring back some of the secondary characters. Like Sid, Chang, Adelaide Chang. They really need to bring the Changs back because I do miss them.
Slide.
Wait, what happened to Chloe? Oh, wait, that's right. She's gone too.
She's dead too. Like she's been reduced as a background character. So honestly, for all we know, like Clyde and Chloe dancing was just a one-time thing, and the relationship between them never happened.
Oh my God. I don't know how this will go. I just hope that we can get to see the Louds and Casagrandes more. Well, again, let's just go back to our reviews. I mean, your thoughts on Forks and Knives Out?
I really love Forks and Knives Out. It's definitely one of the best episodes of the season, and it's not just personal Ronniecoln bias. No, I really love the bond that goes on between two Louds, two Casagrandes, despite the simple fact that they are pretty much in a cooking show together. Honestly, I can tell you this: this is definitely my favorite Loud House game show episode, if you know what I mean. Because like, there's been like 3 game show episodes where it's like Legends. I Double Dare You, and this Forks and Knives Out is definitely better than the last 2 for sure. And I do like the fact that how there's an interesting shift between Louds and Casagrandes being friends and Louds and Casagrandes being enemies, and they shift back to being friends. I really like that whole back and forth between them, and of course the cooking show. The cooking show episode, like you just feel like you're actually watching it. You feel like you're watching the actual cooking show just by simply how the competition unravels itself and how interesting each challenge is. So I really love this episode.
Did you rate this episode?
And also, I rate this episode a 9.5 out of 10. I reckon
almost.
I reckon that
10.
high. I reckon that high. I love this episode so much. For all the reasons I just stated. Of course, Ronniecoln is back, baby. Let's go. And I love the bond between father and son, and also grandma and granddaughter. And of course, the bond between all of them as friends. And like I said, the cooking was interesting to watch. The and then of course you see you see them sabotaging each other. Of course, the rivalry was fun to watch, and then I like how they reconcile in the end, and how Guy Grazer is the one that gets what he deserves by getting his butt handed to him by that quote unquote dumb robot, as he puts it.
Yeah, don't mess with refrigerators. Yes. You know what? If this is going to be the first episode, the Casagrandes are back after the show is pretty much canceled. I would say they are off to a good start. I mean, especially the fact that you end up with Ronnie, Ann, and Lincoln literally meeting up again for such a long time. I thought this was a perfect way to actually bring back the Casagrandes into the Loud House with this whole cooking competition. And I do love the fact that like they featured the 2 characters that love to cook. You got Rosa and you got Lynn Sr. So the competition makes sense. I mean, the whole them in a competition show makes sense. I mean, from the first part, if you get to see them just be friends, but then with all the prizes continuing to pile up, it does make sense why they're trying to be competitive. I do love to see Lincoln, and I do love seeing Lincoln and Ronnie Ann becoming the voice of reason when it comes to Lynn Sr. and Rosa. That in the end, they still end up becoming, best friend families, to say that there's nothing that's gonna break them apart. I love the fact of this friendship here. I mean, I think the only thing that the only thing that I liked about this is the fact that the Casagrandes are back. It just tells me like,
Yes.
okay, there is hope. There is possible hope. The Casagrandes are gonna do well in the Loud House. I know that the show is canceled, but the Casagrandes are definitely looking strong from this episode, and it tells me that if there's going to be more Casagrandes characters that's going to be featured in the Loud House, it could be something like this. And if it is something like this, it definitely would really stand out and will at least make them, affirmative that they're going to be really treated well in the Loud House.
Yeah, honestly, maybe we can keep the Loud Casa Talks title after all.
I don't know. We are technically Loud House now. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's still a work in development. But I also give this a 9 out of 10. I was excited about this episode. I was absolutely happy throughout this episode. Can't really give this a 10 out of 10. I have to make sure it's a stellar episode in order for me to actually give it a 10 out of 10. But
Stella episode, or rather, in your case,
I didn't give it a 10. I didn't give it a 10 there. I gave it an 8. Remember? I was being harsh with my girl Stella.
No, but you said stellar, and then I thought, oh, Stella, right?
Oh my god. But for real though, I mean, this episode was definitely amazing. Great to see the Casagrandes again, and I really hope these next Casagrande episodes are going to be coming out real soon. I mean, we do have Great Lake Freakout that's coming out this Friday, and that one we can't wait for because it's the Casagrandes that allows again hanging out. We do have that Letty and Rosa episode coming out as well, and if anything, when it comes to season 7, we hope we get to see more of the Casagrandes bonding with the Louds, or if anything, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to see like the secondary characters of the Casagrandes too. We miss the Changs, we miss Becky, we miss Nikki, we miss Samir and Casey, we miss Vito, we miss Bruno and everybody else in the Casagrandes. If anything, please bring them back. If anything,
imagine a Nikki episode under the Loud House name. That'd be wild.
That'd be well. I don't know. Maybe Nikki needs help, and she asks aloud about something. That'd be pretty cool. She is a sporty one after all. Why did Nikki and Lynn hang out?
Yeah, Nikki and Lynn. Now that I would imagine they would be friends.
Yeah, see, so I'm just saying, like, we need to hopefully get more of the secondary characters of the Casagrandes to come out, because I love the Casagrandes. They're great. I know that the bonding between the Casagrandes and the Louds are going to be epic, but I do miss the secondary characters of the Casagrandes. Please let them have their chance to shine, if anything.
I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad to actually see the Casagrandes back. This just tells me that the Casagrandes are going to be well in the Loud House, but like I said, there's only just one episode. Hopefully, we get to see more episodes of the Casagrandes and the Louds together in the Loud House. But from coming from Forks and Knives Out, do you feel like the Casagrandes are definitely in good hands with the Loud House?
I honestly do think so, and this episode definitely proves it. This episode proves that, honestly, it proves that while the Casagrandes show may be over, the Casagrandes characters are far from over.
Exactly, yeah. So, if anything, it looks to be a good future for the Casagrandes and the Louds, for the Casagrandes and the Loud House. So, yeah, let's hope it continues on. Anyways, that's it for our episode reviews today. Remember that you can also listen to our Loud Casa Talks podcast on all podcast providers: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, our Loud Casa Talks podcast episodes will be there. If you're watching us on Twitch, please follow our Twitch channel called twitch.tv/Loud Casa Talks. Go ahead and hit that follow button so you'll be notified when we'll be coming on. We always come on every Wednesday, so come on by next Wednesday for our next show. And also, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe by hitting the red button and also hitting the bell button so you'll be notified when we'll be coming on next. I do want to let you guys know that we don't have much episodes coming out. We do have the Great Lakes Freakout episode coming out next Friday, but what I've decided to do is that we're going to pause our reviews until we actually get the new episode of the Really Loud House coming out. So we're going to also, I'm just going to let you guys know we're going to be also reviewing the Really Loud House episodes too. Unfortunately. Yeah.
We do this for you guys, right? The things we do for love.
So don't get ready for that when November 10th hits. That's going to be our first time we're going to be reviewing the Really Loud House episodes. But next week, I don't know if you guys have been seeing the whole roller screen, but we are going to bring back Loud Casa Talks. Next week, we're back, baby. We're going back with the Loud House Casa Talks. We're going to be talking about the recent news that comes out from the Loud House, especially when it comes to the Really Loud House and the current future that it currently has right now. So we're going to be discussing that a lot next week. And then, of course, as a promise, you guys hit 4,000 followers on Twitch. You guys hit 400 followers on Twitter, which means that we can actually start doing our tier maker edition by me and Omid pretty much judging season 1 episodes and pretty much rating them, saying like which one's the best, which one's the worst, that kind of stuff. So be here next Wednesday. We'll be doing a whole season 1 tier maker edition of the Loud House, and of course we can give you guys the recent news of the Loud House and the Casagrandes.
Yeah, so get ready for our big comeback, baby, because like Nate said, the Casa Talks is returning next week, and we got a whole bunch of stuff. We got a whole bunch of videos that we plan to do, so be on the lookout for those, because it's going to be one heck of a season for us.
I can't wait to actually judge you, Omid, when it comes to season 1 episodes. I'm like, oh, do you like snowboard? Is it a B ranking, a C ranking, a D ranking? Oh, how would you like it's a really, really Loud House? Is it an A or B or an S tier? That kind of stuff. We're going to be debating definitely in tier maker.
If you say For Bros About to Rock is anything less than an S tier, like I'm automatically quitting this podcast.
What if I said
forever.
A? What if I said it's an A tier? Would you hate me for that?
Unacceptable. S tier is the only place where it belongs. S tier is the only place For Bros About to Rock belongs. It is a God tier episode. Like the best season 1 episode.
Oh God, yeah, we can't wait to actually debate on this. I will definitely put my foot down for one of the boys. Okay, I like that episode. I know everybody else hates it, but I like that episode. I'll explain that next week.
It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and it gave me a cosplay idea, so I can't completely hate it. I have my own personal issues with it though.
Like I said, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to be doing our first tier maker, and hopefully, if we hit 5,000 likes on Twitter, if we had 5,000 followers on Twitter, we'll do season 2. So to say the least, if every 1,000 followers on Twitter, we'll do more of these tier makers. Let's see what happens in the first one next week.
Hopefully we get to 2000. Hope we get to 2000, where we talk about my favorite Loud House season 3. So let's just get those 2K follows going.
But yeah, but that's pretty much it for our Loudcast Talks episode reviews. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to do the next episode reviews. But until then, my name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And this is pretty much the first time in forever in which the Loud House is just going to be like the Loud House, like only, unfortunately. So here we both are in the Loud House. And until next time, smell you later, loud crowd.